Memory of the day. This is for September 22nd, day 78. This is the Wild Dogs story. Yesterday, I told the story about the Night of the Wolf in the streets of Johnstown. And that reminded me of one time when Karen, Gary, and I all went out on a trail through the woods. I don't remember exactly where it was right now. I think it was around near the Yakagani River. But it was this trail that was out in the woods. It was gravel. It was meant to be a bike path, and it would eventually lead to this big tunnel that was sealed off. So then you had to go around the mountain to get to this bridge. And so Karen and I and Gary are out there, and we're roaming down the trail, and we're probably 2 hours or so into the trek, and we hear something behind us, and we turn around. There's definitely sound of rustling behind us. So we turn around, and I recall it as being three. Karen says there were more, but I recall three. So there was at least three huge black dogs. I mean, now these were definitely dogs. These were not wolves, but they were just big, black, matted, not, I mean, they were wild looking. They were the kind of dogs, you see them and you think, oh, crap. They have not seen many humans in their life. Jet black, eyes just black, fur matted all over them. And they just looked mean as hell. There was nothing warm or sad. There was no part of you were like, oh, poor puppy dog. No, there was none of that. It was just like, ooh, they eat things that are still alive to survive. And so the lead dog comes out first, and it looks at it. It looked. I mean, it was very bigger than a greyhound, but it looked like a greyhound or a Doberman or something like that, with a real narrow waist, broad chest, you know, very streamlined, but like I said, jet black. And the first one comes out, and he's just got, teeth, and it looks like, and he pops out on the road, and he stops right in the middle of the road, and just like look, and he just stares at us, and at least at that point, two other dogs come out behind him and walk slightly smaller than him or her. I'm not sure if it was him or her that came out first. But go, pass behind the lead dog, with the lead dog between us and them, and they kind of just like slowly trot across the trail to the other half. I mean, it was clear none of these dogs nor their ancestors have been owned by anybody. It was the definition of a pack of wild dogs, and and so the three of us were real close to each other. Gary gets on one knee and pulls out a gun that he usually carried with, he always carried with him, and begins to load it. And he's telling Karen and I, he's like, look, if they come at us, do whatever you can to try to protect their throats. So they'll try to go after your face and throats. And the whole interaction took maybe 35 seconds. It seemed longer because that dog just stood there staring at us. And, no shots were fired. In the end, no shots were fired, no attack. They didn't charge us. The other dogs, however many there were, none of them stopped on the trail. They just passed over. When the last dog passed on the other side of the trail, the lead dog, the first one out, lingered there another moment or so. Again, the whole time, didn't look at the dogs moving or anything. Just stared at us, and stayed there an extra second and a half, 2 seconds, and then turned and rejoined the pack. Jumped into the woods. We the rest of the trail, the rest of the trek, we stayed on alert, and we had thought maybe 2 other times we had caught a glimpse of them across the river, moving, kind of parallel to us. But we never really encountered them again. But it definitely seemed like they were at least traveling in the same direction that we were. But that is my memory. It was a very, it was one of the those memories where you're like, oh, this doesn't happen every day, and you knew. I mean, there was nobody else on the trail. Uh, you know, don't know what would have happened if they would have come at us. Um, but they didn't, and 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 we made it home alive.